This time, prepared. May look like a typical Hawaiian floral shirt. Upon further examination, who are those little good boys, hmm? Who are these little good boys and girls? Oh, look at that.
So how exactly could this get worse? Holy fuck!
Oh shit.
Guys, we've got a dick to rip off.
And today we have Strays. I feel like the marketing for it is all just, oh, watch some of your favorite voice actors voice these half digital, half real dogs, and just watch them, I don't know, swear a lot and just have dog antics. Sure. You see the trailer and you wonder, is this gonna be good or just cringe, or I don't know, but I was curious enough to find out myself. Gonna blast right through it. Strays is directed by a Josh Greenbaum. What has old Joshy boy here done? I believe this is his second official, full-length feature film. The last film that he did, I skipped watching this one because I lacked enough context of the characters. I think the characters are supposed to be from a series of SNL skits or something, but the movie was, what, Barb and Star go to Vista Del Mar, or something like that, which, I mean, it flows, right? I'm sure it was good. It's got Kristen Wiig, so it's got to be good to some extent, but this guy has done that. He's done various series, mostly comedy series, even some documentaries here and there. The cast is a real who's who of voice actors, most of which are actors that are good and varied enough where you'd probably recognize their voice without even maybe getting a whole call sheet for the list. But our two main pups, our two main strays, are played by Will Ferrell. Household name. I mean, it's another one of those things, you gotta know Will Ferrell. Most recently, I think I mentioned him in the Barbie movie that just came out. He's in that. And you have Jamie Foxx. And if you don't somehow know Jamie Foxx, in addition to the slew of other movies and media that he's done, arguably his most well-known role is that of being Django in Django Unchained. I think that's what really thrust him even further into the spotlight than he already was. Plenty of other voices. I mean, you even have Will Forte in here. I do like me some Will Forte. He's great. Plays a wonderful asshole, just a loser in this film. You watch the movie, you hear all these voices, you'll recognize some guest actors here and there. I don't know if I can pull a screenshot up, but even Murray from Stranger Things, even he was in this and had if you've seen the movie, had a pretty shitty role, if you know what I'm saying. Will Ferrell plays a little pup, and this pup is just very innocent and is obviously getting used and abused by his owner. And he gets to a point, he's like, oh, my owner plays this fun game where he drives me out to nowhere, throws a ball, is trying to get rid of the pup, obviously, and he always finds his way back home. But this time, the owner gets fed up, drives far, far, far away from home, all the way into the city, dumps him there, and then runs into Jamie Foxx's dog and his whole pack of little pups, and it's just like, oh, I want to find my way back home. And after having a night in the town and a night of experiencing what it's like to be a stray, they all get drunk together, they all have a good time, and then Will Ferrell's little pup, what is Reggie, right? Reggie and Bug? Yeah, Reggie realizes, oh, I have been on the receiving end of all this abuse. He's hurt me and taken from me so much. I'm gonna take away the one true thing he really holds dear to him in his life. I'm gonna go bite his dick off. And that's the plot of the film, is a bunch of stray dogs are finding their way homeward bound to go and bite off Will Forte's dick. And for the most part, this works. Kind of. It works. The positives, voice cast are all great. You can tell they're having a fun, good time. Even if sometimes the jokes don't land or the dialogue is just cringe, the kind of edgelord, how many swears can we fit into this one page of script and dialogue? That happens a lot, but the actors, I mean, I'm sure there was improv in there, but they all were riffing, having a good time. They all played well off of each other. It works for the most part. The story is, I mean, that's a fairly simple, if not, I don't want to say derivative, but it's just a simple, dirty premise. And when you see the trailer for this film, you pretty much know exactly what you're going to be getting into. So I think some of the reviews online pointed this out too. I was just doing a mild amount of research to see if other people enjoyed this film or not. This film does have a surprising amount of heart in it, because it actually does kind of delve into those waters of like toxic or abusive relationships, but we're using the paradigm of a pup, you know, a dog and its owner, basically, and equating that to a toxic relationship, kind of like what Renfield did earlier this year, a codependent versus becoming independent, kind of that similar vein. And there were some scenes, honestly, where I didn't full out cry, but you get a little bit teared up, because then most of us average humans have the experience either of those exact relationships I just mentioned, or having to get rid of a dog, or if a dog's going to be put down, or the love and that bond between, you know, a little kid and the dog, or just the bonds we have to our animals, our pets, our another member of the family, essentially. So it plays on those heartstrings fairly well, actually. And the film does get pretty grotesque, kind of. I'm surprised they didn't take it even further. I mean, the whole plot and premise is we're gonna go bite a guy's dick off, but aside from that, there's plenty of, you know, jokes about dog boners and peeing on each other, and borderline like orgies and pooping on people, or people that are getting covered or rolling around in poop, or just masturbation, and a whole bunch of lewd subjects and all that. So online consensus, if you're one of those easily offended people, you're probably not going to have a great time in this, but it was a fun little raunchy time. I'm not going to lie. I feel like it took advantage of its R rating, definitely with the language, but even with the content and subject matter, I mean, it did a pretty decent job, I'd say. I enjoyed it. I enjoyed my time with the film. Would I watch it again? I don't know if I would. I don't really have a hankering or desire to buy this one and have it, you know, on the shelf back here, but I don't regret watching it, and I wouldn't recommend against watching it. Like, I think it's worth a viewing, sure. Cons of the film, like I said, I think my biggest con for this film, and it suffers from this a lot in Act 1, but Act 2 and 3, either it did it less or I just got used to it, but there'd be some lines of dialogue throughout, or some bits in the script, or when people are talking to each other, especially when Reggie meets Bug for the first time. It felt like a kid being given the authority to finally curse after never being able to do so in his household. Like, he just turned a certain age and he's not going to get punished for it, so he's just like going crazy like George Carlin, just hard in the paint. Just how many times can we fit like fuck into this conversation? How many sentences? How much can we fit it into the dialogue? But again, I don't know if I just became desensitized to it, or if it just did it like less frequently over the course of the film. But adjustment period aside, it's fine. But it sticks out in your script when people are just swearing for the sake of swearing. I don't know. I'm not usually a prude. I hate censorship. Words do have power, but when it comes to profanity, I mean, sure, you can fit better words into your diction and your vocabulary, but in terms of like swearing and just words, like I don't care. Like those are just words. Some of those are just like words that we've assigned power to. The pacing's fine, I guess. I mean, it hits the usual beats of this kind of like almost like buddy misfit road trip type of film. Sometimes maybe the jokes are played out a little bit too long, banking on the fact that it's grotesque and it's going to make people laugh, and for both me and the audience, I mean, it worked for the most part. But I can see how this film would lean too heavily on the profanity and it's a bunch of dogs swearing and there's pooping and boners and all this, and I don't know, I could see how an audience wouldn't enjoy that, but I did. I mean, it's predictable. It's like I said, it hits all the usual high and low points of a film like this. It doesn't really reinvent the wheel here. The most unique angle is that, I don't know, have we had a raucous R-rated dog film before? I feel like we probably have. All things considered, it's not great. Well, that wasn't fantastic, but it could have been a hell of a lot worse. It's one of those films where you don't have to turn your brain all the way off, but you are taking it down a couple notches to like, okay, well, let's just enjoy this for what it is and have a decent time. Should you see this in theaters? I don't think you need to. Would you? It's a good streaming movie for sure. Not a family flick. It could be a fun little date night movie to watch, or, you know, get the friends together. It's a good watch at home movie, but it's not a movie that, in my opinion, you really have to see in theaters. I'd feel safe in giving Strays like a high 3 out of 5. A high 3 out of 5 for sure. It's above average. Could have been, like I said, a lot worse, but it's above average. It's a fun time, especially maybe if you're one of those like sheltered adults out there, like you had like a sheltered childhood and now you're trying to watch movies that are more risque or that are gonna push the envelope even further. It'll be like your first time, like a kid in a candy store. Go nuts, shout fuck everywhere, start, I don't know, jizzing on the houseplants or something. Do whatever you want to do. That's all I gotta say about Strays. Thank you guys and gals so much for watching, and stay tuned for the next episode of whatever movie I review. And goodbye. Yeah, you guys want to say goodbye? Yeah? Say goodbye to them? Yeah? Say the little corgis, the corgizzles. They're saying bye. They're goodbye, travelers.